back to the 815 Exchange. I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336. Once again for episode 20. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached episode 20 of the 815 Exchange. We are 1/5 of the way to 100. It's crazy to think about. This was just an idea a couple months ago, and now, it's full-fledged. We're into a routine. It's kind of cool to see. Here's to continue growth. Thank you for all the support up to this point. Let's continue to do better and better. Yeah. Let's see. Not the biggest week in sports compared to, I guess, some of the mega episodes I've had in the past couple months, but still a very, very important week in sports. A lot of major things happened. A lot of interesting things happen. Plenty for me to talk about is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Personal life, finally done with exams. Shout out to all my college students that just finished up exams. We finally made it. Time to relax for a month until we get sent back into Zoom University. But nonetheless, let's get going with today's podcast. We're gonna start off with college football, and as I teased a little bit earlier on social media, plenty interesting things to talk about here. And let's see, Oregon beats USC 31-24. Keaton Slovis threw 3 interceptions. As I go through all these, you're going to start to notice that it seems all of the same teams that we'd expect on a normal year. This is supposed to be the year of chaos. But every single one of the teams you expect to win the conference championship won the conference championship. Oregon was not even supposed to be in the Pac-12 championship. They weren't even supposed to be in the Pac-12 championship. They're a replacement for Washington. So naturally, we lose. Take the L. Keaton Slovis, I don't want to see him near any top of next year's quarterback draft class. He's not. He's not right now. He's got potential, but he's not. He's got a long way to go till I would feel comfortable putting him as even a first-round quarterback. Because he struggled some. Even though the circumstances, he still had one of the best, I think, receiver corps. I think that's pretty unanimous in America, and he struggled. So, in a pass-happy offense, which is the air raid. Slovis not his finest game. 3 interceptions ended up being costly. Oregon, who weren't even supposed to be in the Pac-12 championship, are Pac-12 champions. Kayvon Thibodeau will be a very high pick next year. Ohio State took out Northwestern 22-10. Justin Fields played awful, and it's time to talk about what is going on with Justin Fields this year. He has every weapon you could ever imagine. Literally, every weapon you could ever imagine, he has it on that Ohio State team. So why is it in these big games, the 2 big games, because Ohio State didn't play that many games, and they didn't play that many good teams, the 2 big games that we have, Justin Fields has struggled this year. He has struggled this year. For all the Heisman, for all the, is he actually the best quarterback in this draft hype? Which I don't want to hear that argument after this past game. He struggled. Had an awful game on Saturday. An awful game. A dreadful game. The only reason really Ohio State won this game was because Northwestern had no type of offense. And shout out to the OSU defense for putting on. But Trey Sermon, who I mentioned last week, I was a little disappointed in how he'd gone and how his season had gone. He went off for 29 through 31 and 2 touchdowns. Just how timing is. Great game for Sermon. We'll see if he becomes the go-to guy, similar to how Zeke was for their title run a couple years ago. If Fields, but for winning, I get to the college football playoff, they're going to need Justin Fields to be Justin Fields. If they expect to advance or even win the national championship. But yeah, dreadful game for Ohio State. They still win the Big Ten championship though. Texas A&M took on Tennessee. They get the win 34-13. Spiller, one of the best running backs in the SEC, one of the best running backs possibly in the country. 149 yards combined, 1 touchdown. Texas A&M did everything they could, finished the season strong. Did everything you could probably ask for them. Only loss was week 2 to the number 1 team in the country. Did pretty much everything you could to make it into the playoff. But, as I'll talk about later, didn't really work out for them like that. Oklahoma took on ISU and was a pretty back-and-forth game. Spencer Rattler with a lot of clutch throws. Great performance from him. 22 for 34, 272 and a touchdown. Brock Purdy, you know, you got to take the good and the bad with him. I saw now how an Iowa State fan compare him and say he was their Brett Favre. Purdy won a lot of games for Iowa State this year, but in this case, he helped lose it this time. 3 picks, similar to Slovis here, in a 1-possession game, cost him big time. Rather makes the big throws at the end. Shows off why he had that 5-star billing, why so much is expected of him. And Oklahoma, as usual, wins the Big 12 championship. Clemson took out Notre Dame in the rematch. The big game of the week. This was the game of the week. 34-10. And listen. I said this a couple weeks ago, but for some reason people didn't seem to grasp it. Trevor Lawrence had 412 yards total, 3 touchdowns. Etienne had 124, 1 touchdown. Amari Rodgers, shout out to him. I said if Amari Rodgers, texted one of my friends, one of my best friends, if the Cowboys did not have 15,000 receivers, I would absolutely want Amari Rodgers on my team. That's how highly I regard him. 8 receptions, 121, 1 touchdown. I told you guys weeks ago, when Clemson played Notre Dame, when Trevor got COVID, I said how this was going to go down. DJ played well. Now, don't get me wrong. Big Cinco, that's my guy. He's going to be a phenomenal player. Probably might be the first quarterback off the board when he goes into the draft. He's a special talent. But I don't know why people didn't seem to grasp how important Trevor Lawrence is to this team. And I'm going to get to the defensive players because they also showed out. And I'm going to especially get to James Kalowski. But Trevor Lawrence, people think we're just riding him. No, this is clear and definite, and I'll also talk about this later when I talk about the Heisman Trophy. This is the best player in the country. Undisputably, the best player in the country. At quite possibly the most important position in football. And you are trying to tell me that there was going to be no type of drop-off. There was going to be no type of effect. Clemson was just going to be able to waltz in another 5-star, another phenomenal talent. Don't get me wrong, Big Cinco, that's my boy. He's going to be a special player. But y'all trying to tell me that y'all expected no type of drop-off. Like you didn't understand the psychological impact that comes with Trevor Lawrence being on the field or him not being on the field. If you're a team coming in and you know you're facing the number 1 overall draft pick, this man has been number 1 in this class since he was a freshman in high school. He went wire to wire, number 1 in high school. Wire to wire. The only person that took the number 1 spot off of him was Justin Fields, and he took it right back. He has been the best player of his generation for the past almost 8 years. That doesn't just happen with any other player. Trevor Lawrence is a pretty much, you could dare say, a generational talent. Many people would say, not even arguably, say he is a generational talent. So I don't understand why people just thought Clemson's going to be fine. No. And of course, as you saw, it's a different game with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. It's a different game with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. Dude is just different. If you watch the game and you saw, he's just different. He's built different. This Clemson team is way better. Is a much better team with Trevor Lawrence at the helm. It's not just he's a phenomenal quarterback. He's a phenomenal leader. And that was missing. James Skalowski, the Trevor Lawrence or the quarterback of that defense. He made the world another great leader, a great player, but also a great leader. Made a huge impact on that defense. And part of a big reason on why, besides them just all stepping up and playing this time, why they held Notre Dame to 10 points. Tyler Davis also got to play. But I don't know. I don't understand why people just thought that if Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to be real, Trevor Lawrence plays that game against Notre Dame back in the regular season, Texas A&M is in the playoff right now. And I'll get to that later. Bama takes on Florida 52-46. Let me talk about it, man. The triplets. I'll probably pop this up on the screen. How to pull it up. I took a screenshot. Mac Jones, 33 for 43, 418, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Najee Harris, 31 carries, 178, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith, 15 receptions, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now for Florida, Kyle Trask, 26 for 40, 408, 3 touchdowns. Kadarius Toney is one of the most underrated players in the country. He should be getting way more praise than he's getting because he is a very, very good receiver and just a very good player for Florida. 8 receptions, 153, and a touchdown for him. As expected, I didn't really expect this game. I mean, Florida scored. The score makes this game look closer than it was, if I'm being honest, because it really wasn't as close. I think everybody expected Bama, like I said last week, to just run through Florida, which they pretty much did. However, Alabama's defense is suspect, even though they were playing Florida, which, I mean, you have to, you're playing Kyle Pitts, playing Kadarius Toney, you're playing Kyle Trask. You're going to give up some points. The Alabama defense was just suspect. They had their glimpses, they had their bright moments, but very suspect. Offense looked unstoppable, but Florida's, did we really expect Florida's defense to give them much of any resistance? Big game for Mac, big game for Najee, big game for the 3 Musketeers, the triplets. Domination from Bama, clinched the number 1 spot in the playoffs. Well deserved. They look like the best team in the country. We'll see what goes down in the playoff. We'll see. Lastly, of the conference championship games, Cincy took on Tulsa. They win 27-24. Desmond Riddler, 352, 2 touchdowns. Cincy gets the game winner. They complete the undefeated season. And unfortunately, that was enough for the playoffs. Not much more they could have done. Honestly, not much more they could have done. It's a shame. It's another reason why we need an 18 playoff. If you're going to do this with the top 4, and this is how you're going to choose the top 4, then we need an 18 playoff. Because you can't tell me Cincinnati was not deserving of being able to play for a national championship after they just ran the table. If every team could run the table, they would. Only the elite run the table. That even applies for Coastal. I mean, listen, if you're playing in an FBS competition and you run the table, you need to be in the conversation. That's my opinion. I'm sticking by that. And there needs to be an 18 playoff. Because I see this is very difficult for y'all because you don't believe they're in the top 4 teams. Well, at least give them a chance. And by giving them a chance, 18 playoff, I know there's clearly 2 top teams this year. So it's like, some people are like, why are we even having a top 4 when we don't expect nothing from Ohio State or Notre Dame? Pretty clear that Clemson or Alabama are a tier above everybody. But teams like Cincy and Coastal deserve a chance. They deserve an opportunity, I think. And that's how I'm feeling about that. And of course, as you know, as I've been talking about, playoff is, of course, as expected, Bama taking on Notre Dame and Clemson taking on Ohio State. If Clemson beats Ohio State again, we might see Ohio State declare war. We might see the university declare war on Clemson. They might come to Clemson, South Carolina, and start a massive war, a brawl, a fight. Because Clemson is just, they've just not had much of a fun time against Clemson. And I'm not sure with the way that defense is playing and the way that offense is playing, they're going to have much of a fun time in this semifinal. I'll say about that. Alabama, Notre Dame. Do I really need to talk about Alabama, Notre Dame? Do I really need to make a prediction? It's Notre Dame in a big game. Does Notre Dame, when is the last time Notre Dame won a big game? Oh wait, they won one this week. I mean this year. With Trevor Lawrence out, with the best player in the country out. I guess that counts. Maybe. Bama's going to murder Notre Dame. We know how this is going to go. This is not going to be interesting. This is not going to be pretty. Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, Najee, they're going to do, indescribable things to that Notre Dame team. Again, like I was talking about the admissions, Texas A&M, Coastal, Cincinnati, so on and so forth. I'll let you guys in the comments if you want to. Go ahead in the comments. You let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Social media links, timestamps as usual are in the description. You go let me know who you think should have been the 4 in the playoffs. Feel free. I asked that question on TikTok. I started a TikTok. Chris_Ocho8. If you want to follow me on TikTok, I'll do some daily sports updates so you can get some of the stuff during the week. And just other stuff I guess you do on TikTok. Whatever. Yeah. You let me know who you think the top 4 should have been. I think it was tough. If you're going to put Notre Dame in, it's hard to say they, shouldn't have been in. But it's tough to say they should have been in over Texas A&M at this point, or Cincinnati or Coastal. It's hard to say. Heisman Trophy, I'll end this as my timer's about to go for my 20 minutes as I'm back to the old cam. Heisman Trophy, no clue who's going to win it. Couldn't tell you. Trevor Lawrence, like I said, he's clearly the best player in the country. He's better at quarterback than any other player is. Even Devontae is at wide receiver. He's better at his position. He does what he does better than anybody else in the country does what they do, if you understand what I'm saying. But that doesn't always mean that gets the Heisman Trophy, as we know in previous times. Especially with defensive players. Ndamukong Suh, when he was going crazy at Nebraska, was clearly the best player in the country. He didn't win the Heisman. So, we'll see what goes down there. Out of the Alabama trio, I would give it to Devontae, especially after what he's done with Jalen Waddell being out. I think that's been huge. And he's had the most influence on how good that team's been. Mackey's been great, but he has all the weapons in the world. Najee, I'm not even sure he has the best resume for a Heisman running back. That goes to Jared Patterson of Buffalo. Shout out to him. But yeah, Trask also, I had a really good game against Bama. I don't think you can really count him out because he took the L. He still played really well, and you could dare say outplayed Mac. So, very interesting situation there. You also let me know who would be your Heisman Trophy winner. Okay, going on to music and music. Because again, I guess Wonder Woman comes out this weekend, right? So I'll be able to talk about that if I can watch it. I'm gonna try to watch it, obviously. So I'll be able to talk about that. But really, music was the big, headliner this week. G Herbo released Statement. Very good song. I liked it. Yeah, thought it was very good. Very good. Very good stuff. Herbo's had a really good year musically. So, yeah, shout out to G Herbo. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to Statement. That's the name. Lil Durk actually released something this morning, if we're talking about the Chicago rappers right now. Forget what it's called. I haven't listened to it yet. We'll definitely be listening to that. Album-wise, I didn't listen to any albums. It was a real quiet week in music, which is why I'm doing this so fast. Music to Be Murdered by 2 came out. I listened to that first part of that album. I listened to the first part of that album early this year. I think I would give it like a 7. I think it was pretty solid, especially for an M project this late. Well, not a 7, more like a 7.8, 7.9, bordering on an 8. Good stuff for M at this point in his career. I heard part 2 was even better. Haven't gotten around to listening to it. I'll try. Same thing with No Ceilings 3 Part 2, or Part B, whatever Wayne is calling it. He also dropped that. I heard it was pretty good. So if you're big fans of those 2 legends, 2 of the best ever, it's the best to ever do it in the rap game, M and Wayne. If you're fans and you haven't already, the reviews I've gotten say they're pretty good. They're worth the listen. I would absolutely go do it because I'll be trying to hit it sometime during the week, especially with me being finally free from school obligations. Thank God. Moving on to combat sports. And we'll start off with boxing. Triple G gets the TKO in round 7 against Kamil Sizameta. As expected, Triple G, one of the best middleweights in the world. Pound for pound guy. We'll talk about his... I mean, it's not really a heated rivalry, but it is a rivalry. We'll talk about his rival next, I believe. Triple G gets the big win. He's looking good. Will he get the trilogy against the man in the man of the hour? This was the big fights, ladies and gentlemen. This was the big fight of the week. Canelo takes on Callum Smith for the super middleweight title. Callum Smith, arguably the best super middleweight in the world. There's a huge height differential in this matchup. I was nearly coerced into picking Callum Smith. How wrong was I? I mean, I still pick Canelo. But how wrong would I have been? Because Canelo completely dominated Callum Smith. Was clearly on another level. Canelo Alvarez is the pound-for-pound king. I'm going to say it if nobody else is going. Canelo Alvarez is the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. Who's next for him? He's got a host of opponents. Triple G fans, I'm sure, want part 3. He's got the Charlos. Billy Joe Sanders wants a piece. He could move up and take on Berbatov. Though I'm not sure if he wants that smoke yet. Might want to stay at middleweight, unify that against like BJS. I think Billy Joe would be my favorite matchup, or one of the Charlos. I think that'd be very interesting. But yeah, Canelo dominant. I think you could have only really given Callum, if you wanted to give him around maybe 1 or 2 rounds. Just very impressive performance from Canelo Alvarez. And good stuff from him. Good stuff from Canelo. And yeah, moves on. A lot of interesting matchups for him, like I said. In the UFC, they had a fight night. The most overrated. And it's not even close. I don't know how. Well, actually, I know how he got overrated. Because he beat Sean O'Malley, and a lot of people don't like Sean O'Malley. He beat Sean O'Malley because Sean O'Malley's leg got broken, or foot got broken, or whatever. That's the only reason Cheeto won that fight. Because I'm not sure if he'd have won it if O'Malley doesn't get hurt. I don't know why everybody immediately, besides I guess if you're one of his countrymen, which I can understand, I don't know why everybody decided to start riding Cheeto after that. Dude is a bum. Dude is a bum personality-wise. He cannot take a loss. He just faced Josie Aldo. I said Aldo was going to kill him. Aldo won pretty easily. Don't know what Cheeto was trying to do there in that fight, if I'm being honest. If I'm being blunt as well, I don't know what his game plan was. Aldo clearly on another level than Cheeto. Clearly. I mean, he is clear. The dirty elbow after the fight, again, that's what you would expect from Cheeto Vera. Again, I don't really get the hype around him. I never got the hype around Cheeto Vera. Honestly. Somebody show me. Show me why I should have been a believer in Cheeto Vera. Because he looked mediocre. Compared to what y'all were hyping him, he looked mediocre on Saturday. He didn't look like he should be ranked. He didn't look like anything special. Anything special. Certainly not a former champion like I saw. Certainly not a future contender. I wouldn't even give him contender status. He might be a good journeyman. He might be a good feature gatekeeper. He might have that type of potential. But I didn't see it from Chito Vera. Maybe y'all can tell me what y'all see in Chito Vera. Because I don't get the hype. At all. He's not that good. Moving on to somebody that is very good. And that is Stephen Wonderboy, the nicest the holder of the nicest MF belt. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson took on Geoff Neal. He handled him pretty handedly. Good stuff from Wonderboy. Hope he can work himself up there. Wonderboy hopefully can get move up. Maybe get a fight against Usman. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, big one for him. He looked really good. Let's see if he can continue to build upon that momentum and continue to make some things happen in that welterweight division. A lot of interesting stuff. A lot of people calling for the Masvidal fight. I would love to see it. I think that'd be very interesting. I think that's a good fight to make next. Dana, if you want to make that happen, feel free to. Okay, let's dive into the NFL world for the week. Yes, we're back with the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. I know you missed it. Thursday night football, we had the Chargers and the Raiders in overtime. That game was a mess. It was all over the place. Herbert, 314, 2 touchdowns. Good stuff from J. Herb. Mariota filling in that game for Carr. Touchdown and a pick. Also let him in rushing. So not a bad game for Mariota. Showed he's a good backup. But Chargers outlast. They get the win. Raiders continue to be... They're going to finish 8-8. I feel they're like the epitome of an 8-8 team this year. They're so up and down. Shout out to Darren Waller, though. 9 receptions, 150 and a touchdown. He's a beast. Certifiable beast. One of the best tight ends in the league. Remember when he was drafted out of Georgia Tech. Very cool to see how he's progressed. The Bills on Saturday took out the Broncos. Josh Allen. I know I've been singing his praises all year. Josh Allen. My goodness. Josh Allen. What a player you've become. 28 for 40, 359, 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, great pickup by the Bills. They win the AFC East for the first time in, I think, 25 years. So, great job. Congratulations, Bills fans. Patriots no longer kings. They also got eliminated this week. Drew Lock continues to struggle. Noah Fant had a touchdown. Good rebound game. He's about a bad past couple weeks. But good to see him get back into the offense. He's also on my fantasy team, so that's why I knew that. But yeah, Josh Allen and the Bills, man. Don't know if they're taking out the Chiefs, but I'm very interested to see what that team does in the playoffs and see if they can make a run there at the Super Bowl. I think, it'll be I'm just very interested to see what that team does. A lot of hope, a lot of good things coming from the Bills organization right now. Packers handle the Panthers 24-16. A-Rod under 200 yards, 20 for 29. Aaron Jones finally wakes up again. 20 carries, 145, 1 touchdown. He's not had his best year. But nice to see him make a return or a semblance of a return this week. Good one for the Pack. Cowboys beat the 49ers 41-33. Tony Pollard coming in for Zeke as Zeke was out this week. 2 touchdowns, not too bad. Andy Dalton, 19 for 33, 209, 2 touchdowns. CD led us in receiving, 85 yards. Nick Mullins didn't look good. Cowboys are 5-9. We are still somehow 1 game out of the NFC East, the worst division in football. Falcons did what the Falcons do best and folded again. I'm so sorry. Falcons fan. I mean, y'all probably used to it. I mean, you're Atlanta sports fans probably, so you're probably used to it at this point. But man, it's got to get tiring. Just always, constantly blowing leads. Tom Brady, 31 for 45, 392 touchdowns for the GOAT. Matt Ryan had a good day, 34 for 49, 356, 3 touchdowns. But, like I said before, Falcons do what they do best. Fold like a table. Fold like paper. Fold like a cracker. Cool. Titans beat the Lions 46-25. Derrick Henry is starting to get MVP hype. 24 for 447 and a touchdown. Tannehill 21 for 27, 273, 3 touchdowns. Corey Davis 4 receptions, 110 and a touchdown. Great day for the Titans offense. They moved to 10-4. Tannehill also had 2 on the ground, so 5 touchdowns for him. Just a dominant game. Lions really didn't do much. Marvin Jones Jr. had a good game, though. But all Titans, Derrick Henry's been going stupid. How many rushing yards is he at for the season? He's at 1,679. He's the best running back in the league. I'm going to say it. If nobody else is going to say it, he's the best running back in the league. Colts take on the Texans. They get the win 27-20. Watson stunned again by the Colts. Late fumble. More heartbreak. Texans, I mean, at least you're going to get a top 10 pick. Don't mess it up this time. No B.O.B., so maybe there's some hope there. Deshaun has another great game, but it doesn't matter. He had 33 for 41, 373, and 2 touchdowns for anybody that wanted to know all that through the air. But yeah, Colts get the win. Colts are 10-4, by the way. Really surprising to me, but look out for the Colts maybe a little bit there. Very shocking. They don't feel like a 10-4 team, but they are. Dolphins eliminate the Patriots. Wild thing to say, but 2020, no Brady for the Patriots. You see how it goes. Dolphins eliminate the Patriots from the playoff race, 22-12. Not a pretty game for either side here, but Pats out of the playoffs. Bears beat the Vikings 33-27. Looking at this, they stay in the playoff race. Big win. Had to get this win. David Montgomery, 32 for 146. Huge game for him. Especially with Trubisky having a very Trubisky-esque game. Turnovers cost the Vikings here. And, yeah, good game for Montgomery. Big reason. Bears continue to stay in the hunt. Vikings hurting. Seahawks get the win over the Washington football team, 20-15. I'm so glad to see the Seahawks not fold again. They're 10-4. Another team that doesn't feel like they're 10-4, but they are 10-4. Russell Wilson's decline. I don't know what it is. He has this has happened, I think, 3 straight seasons. Has an MVP-esque start to the season, but just falls off a cliff. And the Seahawks have fallen off of a cliff here in this second half of the season. Haskins started this game, 2 picks. Washington drops a very big game for them in the case of them trying to make it into a playoff spot, leaving the door open for the rest of the NFC East. Even though, again, none of us really deserve to be in the playoffs, but somebody's got to make it. Ravens took on the Jaguars. They get the win 40-14. This was an important game. Not just because Lamar got his groove back, scored 4 touchdowns, but simply because the Jaguars lost this game. And as a result, they moved to 1-13. And I will get to how important this loss was for the Jaguars and how good of a loss this was when I get to the New York Jets. But that's all I'm going to say for now. Just kidding. I'll talk about the Jets next. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put a banner up in the sky. Let's let the confetti fall. The New York Jets have won a game. They beat the Rams 23-20. Frank Gore Frank Gore clinches it, ices the game for the Jets, and they upset the Rams. I don't know if I've ever seen a game where both teams come out of it asking and begging for their coach to be fired. The Jets. Oh my goodness, the Jets. How have you done it? How have you done it? You can't even tank right. You can't even tank right. All you had to do was lose. And you couldn't even lose right. And as a result, the New York Jets have succeeded in losing the #1 overall draft pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who now own the draft rights to one Trevor Lawrence. Jets fans, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, do you still want to be a fan of this team? I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to jump ship at this point. Adam Gase, for some reason, I would assume, has not been fired for one reason. And that reason is because he's the tank commander and he's supposed to lose y'all to the promised land of the blonde-haired, 6'6", generational talent coming out of Clemson. But no. Adam Gase is so incompetent, he can't even lose properly. You threw the game last week. Why couldn't you this week? McVay, what are you doing? Rams, how do you lose to the Jets in 2020? The 2020 New York Jets. How do you lose to the Jets? Jets get the win and as a result have lost the #1 overall pick. I don't know if you want Justin Fields. Maybe. I don't know if you want him more than you want Sam Darnold at this point. Penei Sewell, I know Bengals fans will be in shambles if you pick him. But Jets, my goodness. My goodness. Congrats to the Jaguars, though. That might be a better situation, actually, probably for Trevor, because you also have cap space. Plus, you have some pretty nice weapons, young weapons as well, so. Probably a better situation for TL, but Jets fans, what are we doing? What are we doing? Cardinals took on the Eagles. Somehow didn't choke as the Cardinals had been the past couple of weeks. Kyler had 406. Didn't choke as they had the past couple weeks. Kyler with 406, 3 touchdowns. Career high for 106 yards passing as well for him. DeAndre Hopkins looked like the best receiver in the league. 9 receptions, 169 and a touchdown. Great game for the Cardinals. Great game for Jalen Hurts, who played better, I think, than Carson Wentz has all year. 24 for 44 with 338, 3 touchdowns. Hurts looking like he possibly could be a starting quarterback or the quarterback of the future for the Eagles. If he can keep playing like that, he absolutely will be. I got faith in him. So good luck to you, Jay. And in your best wishes, even though you're an Eagle, like you, great person, great dude. The way you handled that transfer from Bama to Oklahoma was wonderful. And yeah, 2 former Oklahoma quarterbacks in this game, by the way. So shout out to OU fans. Great week for you all. Both of them played well. Cardinals get the win. Chiefs beat the Saints and was a very, very good game. Patty Mahomes, MVP, candidate number 1 in my eyes. 26 for 47, 254, 3 touchdowns. Chiefs on a 9-game winning streak. Breeze has returned. Not his best game, though. Did have 3 touchdowns, but he's seen better days. It could be a Super Bowl. This could be a Super Bowl preview. Who knows? 2 of these two teams, 2 of the best in their conference. Chiefs, of course, the #1 seed currently in the AFC. The Saints, I think, are they still the #1 seed in the NFC? I know they were at one point or going into the game. But very good game, very close game. And we'll see if it happens again in February. Browns, of course, trounced the Giants 20-6. It wasn't even close. The Browns continue to move closer and closer to clinching a 10-4 Browns team. I say this every week, but a double-digit wins Browns team. How about that? How about that? Baker had a good game. 297, 2 touchdowns. Colt McCoy started for the Giants. That should tell you all you need to know about the Giants this game. They did pretty much nothing, but good stuff for the Browns. Congratulations. You were 10-4, and you're getting closer and closer to that playoff spot you so desire. Happy for you, Browns fans. So very happy. Now, Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup. We are almost done with episode 20 of the 815 Exchange. NBA preseason hype. NBA season starts this year. Again, I'm not putting too much stock into the preseason. Though AD did have a really good game. I know, dropped a 30-piece, looked very good, dropped a bunch of threes. LaMelo Ball continues to get all of the hype despite the fact that Cole Anthony strapped him and outplayed him and looked like the best point guard in this class. I get it. LaMelo's a great passer. It's preseason, so again, trying not to put too much stock in it, but he's gotta perform better for me to get on board here. For Hornets' sake and for me being a native of the... Well, I'm not native. Well, I kind of am a native at this point of the 704. I hope that he's a very good player, but needs to perform better than he did against Cole. 1 for 10, it wasn't pretty at all. Despite the highlights that you may have seen by Overtime, who have been all over this man's nuts, he didn't have a good game at all. Golf. Man, the PNC Championship. I didn't know this was a thing until this year, but father-son duos in golf, dude, that was amazing to watch. Amazing to watch. We had John Daly Jr. I think Justin Thomas and his dad won the entire event. Just a dope event. Nice cool-down event. And nice to see some of the, players, the stars of golf of, present time and the past get to play with their kids. Of course, the headliner here was Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods. It's wild to see. I'm getting to the age now where the heroes of my youth and as a child, their sons are now, coming aboard and starting to play the sport. So it's really dope to see. Really, really dope to see. And yeah, Charlie, actually good. Actually really good. I guess I shouldn't be surprised he's Tiger's son. But I mean, sometimes it doesn't always work out like that. But so dope to see. He's actually very good. Made some very impressive shots. Some shots that people that play golf on a regular basis that I know said they could not make. So yeah, shout out to Charlie. Can't wait to see you two winning the Masters in 2035 and in 2030 and just lighting it up in 2025. Youngest ever Masters win. Listen, all the hype around Charlie Woods. I'm on the Charlie Woods hype train. Shout out to Tiger for being a great dad. Shout out to the PGA Tour for putting that on. Great tournament. Cool to watch if you watched it, if you're a golf fan. I'm sure you watched it. I'm sure you enjoyed it. It was pretty dope to see. I'm going to end off here with college basketball. Kentucky, I'm not going to bash on Kentucky. They're 1-5. If you didn't know, they lost to North Carolina. I'm not going to bash y'all this week. Instead, I'm going to talk about the game of the week. Number 1, Gonzaga. Number 3, Iowa. 3 of the best players you could dare say in college basketball in Luka Garza, Drew Timme, and of course the freshman sensation, Jalen Suggs. It was the Garza versus Suggs show. Gonzaga gets the win 99-88. In what was a very good game. Luka Garza was the truth. He is the truth. He's nothing but the truth. 30 and 10, excuse me. Usual Garza dominance. However, the rest of his team, besides Joe Westcamp, weren't really there. Didn't really help him out. Jalen Suggs, on the other hand, 27-7. Rising up draft boards. A lot of people have him consensus top 5. A lot of people saying maybe he could take over Jalen Green or Kuminga's spot at number 2, or Evan Mobley if you're into centers. A lot of people highly rating Suggs. He's playing phenomenal. Gonzaga's looking really good. Shout out to Joel Ayayi. 11, 18, and 6. Yes, you heard that right. That man is a guard. He had 18 rebounds. 18 rebounds from a guard position. That's crazy. So shout out to Ayayi. Shout out to Suggs. Shout out to Garza, man. Great game for both of those two teams. Think they're going to go pretty far this season and going to be 2 of the best teams in the country throughout. I fully expect that as long as they stay healthy. And God willing, they do. And yeah, National Signing Day, so shout out to all my young guys that signed in. Shout out to USC, we got Jackson Darts. Shout out to my boy Jake Garcia, even though you decommitted, you're going to the U. What else? No real big surprises. Alabama signing everybody. But yeah, we'll see how recruiting goes. Still some great players on the block still to get signed. But yeah, episode 20 in the books now. 20 episodes of the A15 Exchange, man. Crazy to think about, but it's dope. Only up from here. Thank you for all the support. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about. Follow the socials, all that stuff. Thank you for the support. Let's continue to run it up. Make this the best podcast on the planet. Best show on the planet. Why not? But yeah, without further ado, Ocho signing off.